I'm going to make a fruit mousse, but with a few different fruits. I just like mixing the flavors. So we're going to mix together strawberries, blueberries, and mango and banana. Hopefully it will be light, even though the banana is a little, dense. I'm still hoping that this will come out the way I expect it to. And egg whites, fluff them up with a little cream of tartar. That's going to be folded in. Heavy cream will be folded in. The first thing I got to do is to cook those strawberries and blueberries. Now some people just put everything into a Cuisinart or a blender and make it smooth with the mango and finish it up with either a gelatin or heavy cream or a combination of both. But I still don't care for these little tiny, whatever you call them, that get in between your teeth. I love it to be smooth. So I'm going to cook this, and we're going to put water in there. A little sugar. Of course, the amount is on the description. And just that when this is done, this is Marnier or triple sec. Into this, I'm going to put this in there and save a drop of this to mix with cornstarch. This has to be thick. So let this cook. Slowly. The water's in there, everything will break apart. I'll take my stick blender, put it in there. If there's not enough water, I'll add a little bit more. I should have used a more narrower pot, but I wanted better. You should see more of what we're doing instead of looking down into something. Anyway, it's all going to work. So that'll take about maybe 20 minutes or so. If I had to add more water, I will. And if I wasn't so lazy, I would cut the strawberries in like eighths. It'll cook faster. But I'm lazy, so I just threw everything in there. But I would do that if I were you. Cut them up. Okay, so I felt a little embarrassed. I cut everything up. It's a good thing I wasn't using my usual non-stick pan, because I just took a knife and fork, just cut that up. I feel much better now. So now everything in there is nice and soft, as you see. And if I try using my stick in there, I know what's going to happen. It's going to make a mess, because I already tried doing that once. So I'm going to have to transfer everything into here. So let me do that first. So let's see if you can see in there. That is perfect. You know why? There's very little water. That reduced down quite a bit, because we want fruit. We don't want something watered down. Now, in here, this was 2 tablespoons of either Grand Marnier or triple sec. So we'll pour half of this in there, or less, and take a tablespoon of cornstarch, and like so with your finger, smooth that out. No lumps. You just keep on going like so, and it'll be smooth. Okay. Now, turn the fire on, and we're going to smooth this out. And you just tilt this a little bit so it allows it to pull underneath the blade. Okay, now, the next thing I'm going to do, because I almost made a big mistake. If I add the cornstarch now to this, it's going to be more difficult to press it through the chinois to make it smooth and silky and nice, instead of having pieces of, you know, that stuff that gets caught between your teeth. So I'm going to strain this first and then put it back in there. Now I'm not going to rinse this off, I'm just going to get as much of this off as we can. And there's no lumps in there. And now I'll strain it. And just put that off to the side. And wait. Now we're pouring it in here. I'm just using a coffee cup, as you can see. Let me pour this in there, and don't make a mess, and just press it. Now there are those that say, well, this is good enough. Well, I'm sorry, I want it so smooth that when it's on your tongue, it just, the entire thing just feels like a whipped cream with a little bit more body maybe. And you just press this through. And you can also, what's left in here, you could eat it if you want to. If not, and just do that with all of it. What I do now is take this over to the sink, give it a quick rinse so the next batch that goes in there is easier to strain. Now while we're awaiting the banana and the mango that go into there, the egg whites are in a bowl. Make sure it's greaseless, stainless steel or glass or copper if you should happen to have, and put this in the refrigerator. Not only the bowl, even the whip that I'm using, I'm throwing this in the refrigerator too. As you know, almost all the recipes I do I've never done before. So I'm looking at this now, and I'm looking at the thickness of the berries, and then I'm looking at the bananas and the mangoes, and these are not watery items. So as far as the cornstarch here, we're going to discard it. So that means I had about a tablespoon of triple sec in there that I lost, so we'll just add that triple sec back in there since we had some already. So we lost a tablespoon of triple sec or Grand Marnier, depending on what you want to use. Now we will gradually add and since I'm not cooking this, somebody's going to yell at me for putting cold into hot without cooking it for a minute. So we will cook it. Do not fall. as you see, that's going to be thick. As soon as it comes to a boil for a minute, I'm going to shut it off. This is a marvelous tool. This is better than a blender or a Cuisinart. Well, I shouldn't say a Cuisinart because the Cuisinart blades are sharp. The blades in here are very sharp. They're not that sharp in a blender. So this does a good job of pureeing. And when you're working with the sauce like I was, when you go from the pot to the bowl or whatever, make sure you use a spatula, like so, to get everything out, because you do lose a little, not a lot. Lift it up and just push down. Now what we will do, we're going to taste this, and we could add sugar now, or if this needs more sugar, we could just make the whipped cream or the egg whites just a little sweeter than norm. This is going to be refrigerated. This has to be nice and cold, so when we fold in the egg whites and the whipped cream, it'll work right. You could use straight whipped cream, but with the egg whites, you're going to get a little lighter mix, you know, fluffier, aerated more, and plus a little less fattening. And the more you tilt this, the better it works. If it was soup and I tilted it too much, it would go shooting out of the pot, but this is kind of thick. We'll let this bring this to a boil, and I'm going to put it into this plastic bowl and cover it with, not just cover the bowl, put the saran wrap right on top of the mix so it doesn't get any kind of skin. Get it? Because that'll just put a few bumps into the mix. And we don't want, look how smooth that is. Okay. We'll let that come to a boil. And as soon as it does, very little in there. That's good enough. Take this. This will take some time in the refrigerator, or I could, better idea. Instead of putting it into something that's round and tall, put it into something that is more surface area, so the refrigerator can do its job better, like that. The spatula really helps. And now we're going to give this one quick taste, because I never blended these items together before. Looks good, and that's unusual. Anytime you're using bananas for something, and I didn't put a lot in there, so it's real fruity with a little banana flavor. And you just take the saran wrap, put it on top, press it down, and then when you lift it off, you won't have any kind of skin at all there. This has to be very cold. That'll take a couple of hours. We're in no rush. And while that's refrigerated, I diced up a little mango, strawberry, and blueberry, and I will cut a few pieces of banana later, because it'll turn on me now, unless I put lemon juice in there, which I don't want to do. And this will be a little garnish for it. The first thing I'm going to whip up is the whipped cream. At this point, I'm going to add the sugar. The bowl was in the refrigerator with the cream sitting in it. And I like to use confectioner's sugar. I'm just going to give it a quick taste. I know how tart the fruit mix is. We'll just double that. So now that we got the correct amount of sugar. Stiff peaks, and one more shot. So if you overdo it, it'll curdle. Okay, the whipped cream is ready. I'm going to just rinse off this. And now to do the egg whites. This is dry. I have my cream of tartar sitting right there for the amount of egg whites. And I'm going to add the egg whites when it's a little bit frothy, not just, you'll see. As soon as it starts to turn just a little white. like so. Put the cream of tartar. This will help stabilize it. And now just let it go. This will put the air into it and make it light into the fruit mixture. And you know what they say, when you do this, just go in one direction. But you guess what I do at times? I go any which way, just to see if it makes a difference. Now I'll add the sugar, and that's what I almost forgot to do. That should be enough. Got to taste this real quick. It's almost there. A few more seconds and we're done. Nice peaks. You can make meringue rings out of this too. So now what? Now we get that mix. That's been nicely chilled. And we're not going to add this to what we have there. We're going to put the mix into a bowl. And we're going to use a spatula, and we're going to fold it Here's the bowl. There goes the mix. And first I'm going to add, I just made a mess on my stove, add the whipped cream. Fold this. You know what I'm going to do with this when I get done? Don't yell at me. I'm going to eat a little of it and throw the rest out, because I could wind up eating this entire thing. Now fold in the whites. This is nice, we'll get the air in there. I'm pretty sure the ratio of what I have will be pretty good. Nice and gentle, so you don't flatten this and get rid of all the air. And you don't have to make this so it's a solid color. I like it when it, just like that. See the effect? Nice. So now we take this and we put it into our glass. And that is enough for a portion. Then we take the fruit. You can put a piece of mint on there also. And all the fruit is doing is showing people what's in there. The fruit. And don't forget a couple of little slices of bananas, because there is banana in there. You could put a piece like that, a piece like so. You don't need a lot. And there you go. A piece of mint in the middle if you'd like. Now, how many would this make? That's one. I'm looking at the rest here. I would say an easy 4. Or you could just put this in a larger bowl. And when you put out your desserts, just have this out there. And then, if you like also, just some toasted almonds. There's another garnish. And let's see. If you like the berries, with just a slight taste of banana, it's good. Like I said, I'll probably finish this entire bowl. I'll save one glass for my wife. Enjoy.